Now this is the lumbar pillow that this chair has, and I need to very carefully unpick the stitches. I'm going to be unable to use the piping, but I do want to use as much of the blue velvet as I possibly can. This is going to take a little minute to get through. I need to do this so that I have as much fabric as I possibly can. I need to do this as carefully as I can. And try this way, see which way they actually sewed it on, whether it was back to front or front to back. As you see, the dog has chewed through. Now that I've undone some of the stitching, I can actually pull this like this. It's a nylon thread, and if I do it carefully, I shouldn't put too much dust into the air. And because it's nylon, it shouldn't actually rip the fabric that I'm trying to keep. Going around corners, usually it slows you down. There's extra stitching usually involved in that. Cotton threads also rip. Do it cautiously is my advice. It's quite horrifying if you do pull it like this and you rip somebody's fabric. Believe me, I have done it a few times in my career, and I try not to do that. Cut where you need to, and then once you've got enough to hold on to, you can start ripping. The thick upholstery cottons will not work like this. Let's see where we are now. There we go. I'm trying to keep it as flat as possible. This is kapok, I think, if I remember rightly, and I'm going to be reusing that, so I just want to keep that as flat as I possibly can. Just transferred all of the filler into the bag so that I do not lose too much of it, and I'm trying to keep the dust down because this is going to really annoy my skin. Some things that you'll find are quite irritating. You have to work with them. The original lumbar pillow, the fabric isn't that good. It's been chewed, so I'm just going to take the measurements from it, which are 21 by about 13. I'm going to remove that. I'll dust that off in a minute. I'm going to see what I can get out of here that is close to that size, because I only have a little bit of fabric left. Straighten that out like that, and that will give me a straight edge for the bottom. I will cut it 13, but it might not be able to be 21 anymore. Here we go, 13. The easiest way to make sure this is even is to fold it in half like that and use the center here as where you're going to be cutting to. It's going to just have to be where it is. That's 10 inches. I'm cutting through one side at the moment. Open it up like that and make sure my other cut is 20 inches. It should give me a fair size cushion. Not quite as big as it was originally, but in this case that's not much I can do about it. I am going to cut the front side out of a leftover piece of fabric. I can use the same method. Here's my center line. So if I put my 10 along the center of that line, I can just cut up like that. As long as the 10 stays there, I should be equidistant when I cut this. And then using that as my line here, I'm just going to cut here at 20 as well, which should be 10 from the center out. If it wobbles a little bit, it's not a big problem. I'm just going to fold it over like that to give me some idea of where I'm looking for in the center of my pillow. And take it slightly up, I think. Lay this on top. That fits nicely. Double check. Make sure that and that are even. So it's even across the bottom of those flowers. Like that. And then I'm going to just use my ruler and cut the depth of the pillow at 13. Out of this little piece here, I'm going to cut 3 length, 1.5 inches wide to make the piping. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Once you've started it, you just go from your start point up to your 1.5. Try to keep it as straight as you can. This one's going up to my 3, and this one's going up to my 4.5. Move it down, straighten your ruler out, then go for your 1.5 inch increments all the way along. I'm going to first put the piping together, and I'm going to lay the face up and the second line face down. I'm going to cross over so it is like this. Then I'm going to use a small stitch to go from the top corner where it crosses here diagonally across to this corner here, and I like to do that on a 2.6 to 2.8. The reason is it's nice small stitches and the piping cord shouldn't show through, and I'm going to put 3 pieces together. So this is my first 2. When I get to the end of the first one, I fold my second one in half. I lay my third one across at right angles as I did before, and then I'm going to sew it from corner to corner as I have just done. You can do this for as many lengths of cording as you need. When it comes off, it's joined together like that, which I'm going to cut. It's my piping foot. It's got a groove for the piping to go through. And the piping I do on the longest stitch, so that's usually number 5 on most machines. With the wrong side up like this, put the piping along the center and just fold it round so it's equidistant on the raw edge. And I usually start sewing about 1 inch to 2 inches from the end of the piping cord. The groove in the foot keeps the cord in position, and start sewing. When you get to the join, just trim back like that and then open the seam up, and that spreads the bulk of the fabric across your piping. And carry on to the end of your piping, remembering to do that on each join. Now I'm going to apply the piping to the cushion. On this one, doesn't matter which one is the front of the cushion because it's going to be hand sewn in. I am going to place the piping along the bottom edge. If I was to put a zip in, I would put the join of the piping on the side so I know where I'm working to, but in this case, as I say, I'm going to put it at the bottom edge, 1/2 inch in from the outside of the cushion. I'm just going to sew along the bottom to the corner. You can leave the stitch length on 5, that's really not a problem. When you come into the corner, cut the piping only at a 45-degree angle from the outside edge to the sew corner where you're going to be sewing it to, and wind it in if you're a little ways out, just to make sure you get it exactly where you want. Leave your needle down, pick the foot up, turn your project, pull the piping back around, and I usually fold it hard back and then let it fall into place like that. When you come around the last corner and you're joining up your piping, stop about 1 inch to 2 inches ahead of where you started, and then cross over your piping by about 2 inches, and you've got plenty to make the new seam. You don't have to reverse it or anything, you just leave it there. Then this one's already peeled back. I'm going to peel this back, open the stitches up like this. I'm going to open this side up a little bit as well. You need a good 2 inches open. 3 is better, so 4 to 6 centimeters. The next part is I am going to fold the back under at a 45-degree angle like that. My seam is going to go across. Cut that out. Now this part also has to go in the same direction, so what I'm going to do is just make sure that that's a generous amount, and I am going to fold this one across also at a 45-degree angle and cut that out too. It's easier if you hold it and then cut it, you get your angle right. I'm going to swap this foot out for a straight foot so the pressure is equal on the fabrics. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my fabrics over and find out where my center point is. You see the 2 fabrics here, and my center point is here. That is my stitch line. I'm going to put both fabrics together with that stitch line in mind, right sides together, shorten stitch length to 2.8 and pop it down. Now it should be about a foot width distance. Now this can vary, but try to keep it within that variable. It makes life easier. Line the fabric up. As you see, it's a little bit awkward. Drop the foot into place and sew across. You sometimes need to unroll everything. Don't pull because you're going to stretch the fabric on the bias. You don't want to do that. Just let the dog feet pull it through. Now with a bit of luck, that is going to be exact, and it's pretty close, so I'm not going to worry about that. If it's too loose, I will undo it, and if it's too baggy, I will undo it. And if it's close enough, I'll leave it. Open the seam where the join is, rewrap the cording, pull the cushion cover back underneath and away from the stitches, pop it underneath and sew on a 5 and close it up. When you get to the join, just make sure that that's open and tight in. When you get past the join, work out where your cord is, and I usually cut that at a 45-degree angle like that. The other one is going to run on top of it, so that also needs to be cut at a 45-degree angle. Then you lay one on top of the other and wriggle it into place so it's as smooth as you can get it, and then sew to the end, and then sew it all in place, and that gives me a sew line on it. Also keeps everything tidy. The join is at the bottom of the pillow, so everything should be hidden anyway. With velvet, just make sure that everything is going in the right direction. That is down, so I'm going to put down and down together like that. I'm going to put the velvet underneath, and I'm going to start sewing about 3 to 4 inches in from that end to the corner. Make sure the raw edges are together, forward and reverse. Carry on. See if you can move the needle across a little bit. It doesn't have to be. As you come to the corner, work out where your corner is going to be for the piping. Put your needle down, lift the foot up, turn both pieces, make sure they're in line, put your foot down, and start working your way to the top of your cushion. Pinch the tops together so that they run together. One might be bigger than the other. One fabric might walk against the other. That's how you keep everything straight to where it needs to be. And repeat this on all 3 sides. When you come round back to the base of your cushion, so you've gone round all 3 sides, decide how much space you need for putting the stuffing back into the cushion, which is usually about a fist width and a little bit more. And then sew up to that, reverse and remove. Then all you've got to do is cut your corners like this. I usually kind of hook mine around so there's not so much bulk going in. So you just need to leave about 1/4 centimetre or 1/8 of an inch, just enough so that the stitching doesn't come undone. Do that on all 4 corners. Once you've cut everything back, turn your cushion the right way around, pull it out along the piping. Usually I just wriggle the piping into place like that. There's 1 corner, 2, and the other 2 come out quite easily. I can brush all of this off in a minute. I saved the kapok that was in the original lumbar cushion, and I'm going to very, very carefully put it back in because this is a little bit icky. It's a bit dusty, that is for sure. Push it into the far corners until it's full. The thing with kapok is there's often little twigs. I always get rid of those. Fill this up as best I can. I managed to stuff it with everything that I had originally. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to work out how deep the seam is that needs to go in and just run it along the piped edge there and pin it into place. I can clear up the mess in a minute once that's sewn together, and then I can also bang it around until it's nice and evenly in there. I only had what was available to me. I'm going to give a good long thread like that. I know it's only about half the distance. Go back a few stitches, then through the piping cord about 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 centimetre at the most, and then through the back of the throw cushion, and then back through. I have done sewn cushions on a previous video, so if you're unsure, just look it up. Then you've got an invisible seam that goes along there. And I'm not going very far, I'm just going to there. Make sure all your stitches are tight, and when you come to finish, overlap your stitches with the pre-sewn ones like this, and then on the colour that it's not going to show on, just do a couple of stitches that overlap on down like this, some tiny back stitches, 3 or 4, and then a long one, cut the thread to there, and then you don't have any start or finish. Then just sort of pat the cushion and it should go into place. Any loose ends, just pull them out or cut them back. If you take some sellotape to all of this, it'll get all the fluff off. Thank you for joining me with this project. I hope you realise that you can pick and choose which bits of an upholstery project you want to do. In this case we repaired one of the legs and gave new life to the old seat cushion, back cushion and lumbar. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to see more from me. And maybe a couple of thumbs up would be good, then I can see how well I'm doing. See you later. Take care. Ciao.